Okay, so I've gone ahead and taken out the radiator and the fan. Now, the Bentley manual I told you about, it's going to reference things like checking your clutch on your fan. Go through the manual as you do this. It talks about once the fan's in place, you can rotate that fan with slight resistance. If there's a little bit of resistance, check for leaks. Your clutch could be bad in that fan. There's a clutch in here. This thing spins continuously, but depending on the engine draw for heat and stuff, this fan's going to spin at a different rate. So anyways, we've got the radiator out, coolant flushed. We've got the ground cleaned up. I've got a fan blowing on the concrete to clean it up. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take this hose out from the air box to the bottom of the manifold. We're going to take this heat shield off, and then we're going to take these manifold bolts off, and then there's two more bolts connecting the upper manifold to the lower manifold, and we're going to disconnect these two bolts, take the heater off, take the manifold. We're going to take this left side of well, it will be the right side. Take the manifold off. Another thing what I'm going to do next is going to take these leads off for the spark plugs. And this is number one, going down the line, keeping in order. And we'll just take it from the distributor. We'll take the wires off and the left side of the manifold and this heater. And then we can start getting into taking belts, taking the pulley cover off, start accessing the timing belt. Eventually we're going to have to take this right side off, the valve cover will come off, and yeah. So you should be able to keep the alternator in place unless you're going to be changing out the engine mounts. There's one engine mount here behind the alternator, and there's one underneath the power steering pump. And these ones are okay, so we're not going to be replacing them, so I'm going to try to keep the alternator in place as well as the pump. You shouldn't have to break into the AC at all. You can keep that system intact. You can keep the power steering system intact. You can keep the brake system intact. You don't want to open up any of these systems because you get air in there and you're dealing with another ball game. So that's step 2.